topic today. That is, will you show up?
Will you show up? When you saw that title, did you think that I meant that for you for the podcast?
Will I show up? I was like, well, of course. Yeah, you asked me to, so yeah I'm going to show up.
So in Sunday school leadership, well, in church leadership for that matter, there's this silent killer that goes unnoticed. And it's called self-consciousness. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's so many people that could be amazing leaders, and they get stuck being so concerned about messing up.
Right.
There's one person in our church in particular that I can think of that's very talented. I'm trying to be as vague as I can. They're really good at most of the things they do. But sometimes, not always, but sometimes they're held back because of that, because they don't want to mess up.
Right.
They're so afraid. So if we could stop being, so timid and worrying about what we might look like, maybe, we do a lot of stuff we talk about on stage, what we might look like on stage, or what, people might think about us. It might, if we could take off the constraints, so to speak, and just step out and do the work of God, we'd probably be amazed at what we could actually accomplish by leaving all that stuff in the dust,
Exactly. And so that even goes to Sunday night, or not Sunday night. Well, I'm thinking I'm all backwards here, but last night at church, they sang a new song that they'd only practiced once. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So there was some mess up at the beginning, and afterward, so I was on sound, and I was like, okay, this is different. What's going on here? Trying to figure out who was supposed to be doing solo, who wasn't, and things like that. And then so after, I was talking to a couple of the people up there, and they're like, "Oh man, we messed up so bad on this part and doing this and this." And it's
really?
Like, I said, "Well, yeah, I noticed." I said, "But that's only because I was like, what song is this? I didn't know the song. I didn't know we were doing this." And then I said, but at the end, I said, "But I guarantee you, probably no one else, or very few, knew." That wasn't supposed to go like that, or those words, I think they messed up a word or something like that. And I said,
and we've talked about that in Sunday school. Same thing. It's like, the kids don't know.
Heart of Christmas too. Things like that, where it's like, people are like, well, how'd it go? And it's like, it went fine. Like, no one noticed what wasn't supposed to be there or what was supposed to be there.
We often after the first night, because we've been doing a couple nights, and this year we're doing 3. But at the first night, we're like, oh man, that was so messed up. We got to make sure we fix that and stuff. And then other people are like, you messed up?
Like, no. Most times, if you're not aware of it, you're not going to notice it. And again, we're our own worst critics. We'll sit there and go, oh no. And it's like,
which is needful. And I don't want to jump all over the notes too early, but I do think it is needful for us to be our worst critic. We should have our own highest standard.
Yes. Yeah.
But on the flip side, like what you are saying, is too often we think it's that person and that person. We think that they're our biggest critic, and they're not even thinking about us.
No,
or they don't even notice.
Yeah.
And then the final thing kind of in that is, if we could stop being timid and all of that. But here's where the title comes from, is imagine, if you can just think of this, imagine who is waiting for you to show up. So often we're concerned when we're looking on the inside and we're saying like, oh, can I do this? Am I messing up? Should I do this? I've talked about the lifeguard hack before. If you're the lifeguard, nobody cares what you're wearing.
Right.
And so who is waiting for you to show up? Who's waiting and saying, I wish somebody would lead. I wish somebody would show us the way.
Yep. I see what you're saying on that. And I think you can apply that to a lot of different aspects in our church, in our different ministries, our different positions with, we'll even say not even just Sunday school, but, worship.
Oh yeah.
Many times it's like, hey, if that one person would just
step out
right. and it's like, is it me? Maybe it should be me, right? Like, well, what about, I'm just waiting for someone to step out.
It's like thou mighty man of valor. Me?
Yeah,
what? No, not me.
Me? Are you sure?
Isn't that, Sister so-and-so supposed to do that?
Right.
She always takes off.
Yeah. It's,
Again.
Yeah.
So, exactly. And that's where I think so many leaders are held back, by being so timid.